Welcome to the Teacher's Pep Rally. If you missed our last episode, we had Isabella Webb, an academic advisor at the University of Washington in Tacoma. She shared her passion for storytelling and how she empowers her students to share their stories of culture and identity. Through her worldview, we were reminded of the transformative and healing power of education. Please go back and check it out. And while you're there, leave us a review. We value you and these conversations. Today is all about quality time with the TPR crew. We want to take a look back at the things we're grateful for and hopefully inspiring our TPR friends to pause and take a trip down Letitia's gratitude lane. So get comfy and cozy up. Let's talk about life and gratitude. Please welcome all of us, the TPR crew. Woo! Hey, here we go.
Yay.
Just us.
Yes.
Just us. Celebrating ourselves is so hard, right?
Right. Should have brought some bells or something. Well, Letitia, let's do the happy happenings. And I'll be honest, I have not thought about it. Not that that's a problem, but here we go.
It's okay.
Dig
It's
deep.
okay.
Here we go.
He said dig deep. I love it.
Be the ball,
Well-
Danny. Be the ball.
Well, this is something that I'm excited that we added to our episodes, just trying to shed some light on the positive things going on in our lives during the week. And so I guess I'll start it off today. So my happy happening, don't laugh at me, but I was having dinner on my lunch on my patio. It was a beautiful day, just relaxing out there eating my lunch. And I felt good. I was like, I'm feeling so content. Well, the funny part is that I started to smell my dryer sheet, the Bounce.
Is this a commercial? Do we have a paid sponsor?
So happy, like the level of contentment went up because laundry is my favorite chore. So the smell of laundry, eating a great lunch outdoors, it was just like, wow, I'm happy over Bounce.
Wow. When we do Secret Santa, we know what to get Letitia.
Yes,
Bounce.
get me Bounce. Lots of Bounce dryer sheets.
I love that though.
It's the simple things in life. Pete, any happy happenings this week?
Oh man, the bounce though. That's such good stuff. Okay, yeah, the bounce. Yes. So yes, last week our school had our 50th anniversary, and it was a big event. And that was
That's
wonderful. And
Awesome.
had high schoolers volunteering and helping out among the many activities. And I heard this, Mr. Bush. I turn around, and it's just amazing how these kids grow, and I keep in touch with many of them online, but to see him in person and to see this boy he was quite a firecracker. He was our Simba years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And when we did Lion King, and now he's in high school, and he's quite a athletic looking guy. He's got the hair, he's got it all going on, and really studious glasses, and he's got it all going on. And he has everybody around him, and he says, I just want to let you know that I didn't have a dad in my life, and I look back on you, and you're the closest thing I ever had to a dad. And he said it in front of everyone in this lunchroom. And it just I get a little emotional thinking about it. And I gave him the biggest hug. I haven't seen him in 4 or 5 years. Like I said, we keep in touch online, but I gave him a hug, and the chorus performed that day. We were pretty busy, but I made sure I went over and talked to him. I saw his mom. Mom is a Air Force veteran, amazing woman, strong lady. And I sat with him on a table outside, and we just talked. And we caught up, and I said, you gotta have my number. Let's keep in touch, and I'm here for you. Just because we're in different schools doesn't mean, I'm still here for you. And I was so proud of him because he was quite a firecracker. So that was a happy happening of the season for me. That was really powerful. So
That's cool.
That is amazing.
That is really cool.
Love that kid.
You never cease to amaze me, Pete. And I just want you to know, I was telling my husband, Will, the other day, the next time Atlanta has a Teacher of the Year nomination, I'm going to do it. I'm telling you right now.
I don't like
do
that
not be
stuff.
surprised. You may not like it, but I'm throwing your name in the hat.
Oh, thank you.
Because
Thank
you are an amazing
I don't like
human
that stuff.
being.
I'm not good
I
about
know.
that. But man, just look, I got a little emotional just thinking about that kid. So yeah. So he's a good kid. I miss him.
I
Oh,
just
that is-
so
Thank you. Thank
appreciate.
you.
I so appreciate just the work that you do every day and
Aw,
the impact.
thank you.
I mean, every week our happy happenings. You highlight all these wonderful things at your school. So I'm serious about nominating you, but I
Thank
just
you.
want you to know that I appreciate all that you do. So thank you, my friend.
Thank
you.
you guys. You guys bring out the best in me. That's for sure.
Hmm.
Well, not for
Not me.
no.
You know, we get in a
I
lot of
love it.
trouble sometimes. I do think, you know what though, Pete, you said something, was it three episodes ago about, we were sharing happy happenings and you talked about, it was teachers night and it was, you know, you made this comment about the specials don't get the attention that, you know, the math and science teachers do. And I think about that a lot actually, when you said that. And I was thinking, don't ever feel like you're playing second fiddle or whatever you want to call it term to the non-specials, because your role is just as important. It's not anything less.
Thank you.
The only thing is you probably give less homework. That's the only thing that's the
Yep.
big difference.
No.
But it's,
And, you know,
it's,
like
it's important.
we're a part of the whole team, right? And we know all those kids. We know those
Yes, you
kids
do.
for years. And like I tell the kids, I said, I'm going to have you longer than any other teacher you're going to have throughout your entire academic career. I know you. If they were smart, they'd have us in the meetings where you plan the classes, because we know the chemistry. We know who should be with who and who's going to work well with who and what's going to give that teacher the best chances to have the most amazing class for the next school year. We know those kids, and it shows at these community events. It shows. But the academics number one, but we also we're a big part of the support system. That's for sure. So thanks, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
That's a great point. Such a great point. So, Aaron, what you got for us this week?
I've got a good one, but I'm going to connect and it'll probably make you laugh because I'll be laughing at myself. But real quickly, Pete. So I ran into recently a student who I had years ago working at Marshall's, and they were at the register. And so we got to talking or whatever. And it is funny. You get into a mode, and I know I was making people so pissed off behind me in line, wanting to just get up and pay. But I was like, no, this is still my student, and something's up, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it in these few minutes as we're checking out on my thing, you know. And it's just, and I think that's what we try to highlight here. So that's why I just wanted to mention it, is that we're not saying it about necessarily us, but just teachers in general just have the biggest heart. And so hopefully these conversations we're having and these things that we're talking about with our guest is really, really highlighting that, because it's just so sweet, just the connection. I mean, it really is more meaningful than I think anyone ever could understand, that relationship between the people at school,
right?
You know, and the students. Because this girl even said to me, I could tell she was a little down, and that's why I was like, oh, we're just going to take our time checking out here so I can check in with her. Because I said to her, hey, have you stayed in touch with any of your friends from school? And she said, no, unfortunately, none of them. And then I said, well, how are things going? And I could tell, you know, she was okay, but something was bothering her. And she just said, I miss school.
The structure.
It's the structure. Yeah. The social aspect, probably the consistency, anyways. Okay. My happy happenings. So I went shopping with my mom and sister-in-law and had a really nice time. And my nephew's birthday is coming up, and Christmas and all these things. So Crocs are back. Don't know if you all know this or not, but the plastic shoes are back. Crocs are back. And he wanted some Crocs. So he's going to get some Crocs for his birthday. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get him. And I kept calling them giblets. Or giblets.
Oh, gibbets.
They're giblets.
Oh, those are those little plastic things that you stick on them?
Yep. So
yes.
Hopefully I did okay.
Oh, yes.
Yep. This one looks like his dog. He loves to eat octopus. He's a big gamer, plays baseball, and then Spidey. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun picking these out, but I was cracking myself up because I kept calling these things giblets. And they're not giblets. I must have been thinking about Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
You're going to get cool points. Okay?
Although any teachers out there that have students over the Thanksgiving holiday that come to school with giblets on their Crocs, pictures. We have a lovely prize package for you.
Yes, take a picture, post it on Facebook.
Please do
We'll
it.
send you something
So
special.
awesome. Well, I have 3 pairs of Crocs and they all have gibbets.
Yes.
Gibbets are the jam.
This TPR brought to you by Marshall's Bounce and Crocs.
Gibbets, right, and Crocs.
And the giblet industry.
And the giblet industry. Oh man. I'm
You never have
loving
too
it.
many giblets.
Wow. What are you guys drinking?
Just iced tea, I promise.
Oh my goodness. Abley, so glad to have you back. We missed you last
Abley.
week.
I do miss, you know what? I listened to the episode. I hope everybody goes back and listens to it. What a great guest we had. You know, and I work with individuals like that at the university, the academic advisors. They are so integral to the student success. So especially with programs now where there's a lot of flex and where we used to be locked in very early on to degree programs, there's a lot of ability now to move around earlier in programs. So that takes people like that to make sure the students are on the right paths. And it's great to hear that she sounds like a wonderful woman. I loved, you know, the comments too about what everybody was thankful for too. So it was good to hear your happy happenings. I was kind of like thinking to myself, what else would I have added into the conversation? But I'll let you all go back to that episode and listen to it. But for me, you know, so when this drops, it's going to be the week after Veterans Day. And as many listening may or may not know, maybe really. So my background is the Marine Corps. I'm a former Marine and veteran. And I thought a lot about this week. It's an interesting week because, first of all, little history. November 10th is the Marine Corps' birthday, and then on November 11th is Veterans Day. So when you drive around the area that I'm living in, I don't know if you see this in Atlanta. I'm sure you probably do, but there's been a lot of investment made into putting up these banners of veterans, right? World War II veteran, Korean War, Vietnam War, Afghanistan, all these. So you drive everywhere and there's these banners going around. So as I was driving around, I'm looking up at them and I'm like, wow, it's a happy happening in the sense that I love the feeling that I'm part of that lineage. Because that's really what it is. And to put a little bit of a finer point to it, this past weekend, it's been warm up in the Northeast. And when I say warm, so here it is, November 1st, or what are we at? November 9th right now. And it's 70 degrees. That's not normal for us right now. So it's one of those off years where it's a little bit warm, but coming Sunday, it's going to get cold. So of course, when you get warm weather up here, and as you grow a little older, it's time to put up the Christmas lights because you know Jack Frost is around the corner and it's going to really be cold. So as we were putting up some lights outside on the eve of Veterans Day, I'm with my son who was visiting, and we thought he's Mr. Christmas. And he's like, let's get the lights going. He goes, but let's not do them all because I'll be back home to do them all. And it was one of those moments where I have always tried to make sure I instill that kind of, I don't know, practice and looking forward to the holidays and anticipation and all that. And he brought it out. It was one of those moments I'm like, oh, good. Yeah. Because that's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it, but I'm like, yeah, I want to wait. I want to wait till you come back in. So this morning he shared with me a video and I had a hard time finding it. So I would ask if anybody could find this. American Airlines put out a Normandy tribute to the World War II veterans. And it is, I don't know if it came out last year. So he said this.
I think it was a year or two ago. Wasn't this
it was the 74th. So it was 2 years.
Yeah.
And I never saw that before. And as I'm watching that video and I'm thinking about those banners and I'm thinking about instilling that feeling in my son, I was like realizing that that's really what makes me happy. I love the fact that we're passing down traditions. We are part of a tradition that's bigger than all of us. And when you watch that video and you hear what they say in the video, I think that's what makes it really different because they really do reflect on the fact there's only a few of them left.
Right.
And they're happy that they had this time together and doing what they did. And that gave me a really good feeling. I really enjoyed that. That's one of those moments as a veteran, because I don't like to wear it on my sleeve. I, of course, have the haircut that shows it, but it's just a neat thing. It's just neat to be part of that lineage. And whether maybe you couldn't go in the military, maybe you don't want to go in the military, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I think for those teachers that are out there that are veterans, I just want to say thank you for your service. And for the Marines that are out there, Semper Fi and happy birthday. So it's pretty cool stuff.
It is. That was absolutely beautiful. And what a great tribute to veterans. And I'm so happy to hear that so many school districts across the country are actually hiring veterans to teach in the classroom. So I think, that's such a great way to fill the shortage and then allow them to continue to serve in that capacity.
Yes.
So that is awesome. Thank you so much for lifting that up. So yes, TPR episode today is all about gratitude, And I'm really glad that we're doing this episode, primarily because it's time for us to kind of get together, right? I love the guests that we've had. I think every episode is the guests just get better and better and better, but it's kind of nice to hang out kind of by the campfire today and just hang out. So let's kick it off, guys, with a little insight on what the benefits of gratitude. And I know that most of us think that we know all the benefits of gratitude, but I wanted to uplift a few things that maybe we don't think about, like that it boosts your career. When we practice gratitude, it boosts your career because you are focusing on the positive. You become a better manager and leader, and we did our Dare to Lead, and, we are all leaders, really. So I thought that was pretty cool. But this is another one that I thought was awesome. Reduces materialism.
How so? How do you explain that one?
So when you start to really focus on the things that you already have, you're not anticipating, I need this next thing, next thing, right? You're so focused on just being grateful for what you have. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, sometimes I look around and I'm like, I've got a lot of stuff. Just even the closet. Like, who needs that many pairs of sneakers? You have like 2 feet. So it's like when you're grateful and you focus on what you have, I noticed that the trips to Marshall's are actually going down a little bit. So that's how
we just lost them as a sponsor.
Let's not cut out the giblet people.
Go to Marshall's. Don't be grateful. But just, of course, we still shop, right? But I thought that was an interesting fact. It increases self-esteem, increases your energy, and actually impacts resilience. It gives you bounce back, right? So when we focus on the positivity, our brains are already pre-wired to think negative. So when we focus on the positive and we focus on gratitude, we actually build up that resilience muscle and increases productivity. And for those of you that are in relationships, it deepens relationships, better marriages, and helps you network, professional networking. I was very surprised by that because I'm actually can be very introverted. I don't like big spaces and networking like that with hundreds of people. Like, you will not see me at a conference just chit-chatting away with everyone. But apparently gratitude lifts up that self-esteem and helps us kind of network a little more. So what are you guys' thoughts about some of these benefits? Anything shock you?
Yeah, I would say I totally agree with it. After you described it about the materialism aspect, I think that I didn't think of it in that connection, but spot on. When you appreciate everything you have, it probably creates that feeling of settlement and like you said, gratitude, but also thankfulness. I guess that's the same thing too. Mm-hmm. But I like that idea that it doesn't always have you keeping up with the Joneses and putting yourself in a space where you really will not find happiness. You really have to look more inward. I really like that one. That's something I really never thought about, that connection.
Yeah. And to your point, Fred, I had to kind of dig deep on that one, which is what got me kind of looking around, and I thought, those minimalist folks, they just seem to be a lot happier. I see your head shaking, Aaron.
Yeah, well, you know, to that point, right? So yesterday I had a phone call with a really good friend of mine, and this is pre-election, and you know, we were lamenting over the craziness that's going on in the world and everything. And he has a sales rep territory that puts him right next to the Amish in Pennsylvania, and he says, you know, maybe they have it right. And like, you know, they have a zero carbon footprint. They have, well, they got an interesting lifestyle in some regards, but you know, to your point, they live a very minimalist life and they seem to be doing quite okay. You know, so
yeah. Aaron, I see your head shaking.
Well, I think for me, I've learned that gratitude allows me to sift through disappointment when there's things that happen that, you know, wasn't expecting, or it feels like a setback. I'll always dust off and get back up and get going again. But sometimes some of them knock me down to my knees for a minute. And if I can stop and think about what I do have in my control or what is going right and go through that gratitude list, I start to realize, like, okay, there's a lot of things that are going great for you. So let's focus on that maybe a little bit more and keep going.
So I guess that goes back to really that bounce back, right? And I love that you highlight that, because I've never, you know, kind of considered to go back to my list, like my gratitude journal, right? But, you know, as of late, as many of you may or may not know, like right now I am growing a business, right? And trying to do some things, and transitioning from being on salary is very different than having to hustle and find the money, right? It's kind of like, if you don't work, you don't eat, kind of thing. And so sometimes that really, it gets to me, Fred. I know you're laughing, but really,
no, it's true. Yeah.
My mom freaks out. Stop saying that. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. I'm like, I'm a business owner. This is hard, right? And so I get into that, you don't work, you don't eat, right? Mentality. But to your point, Aaron, you know, when I really sit back and think about, you know, how many people wouldn't love to be in charge of just their schedule, like their day-to-day schedule, that I can actually sit on my deck, have lunch, and smell bounce dryer sheets in the middle of the day and feel happy and content, right? Or this morning, you know, being able to take my dog on a walk, you know, because I'm in control of my schedule. So, you know, I think you're onto something there, Aaron. You know, like when you're feeling kind of down or even defeated, going back and kind of, hey, wait a minute, you have a lot to be thankful for, young lady. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Pete is looking so intense.
Yeah, it leads to an inner peace.
Yeah,
it leads to a contentment. And when you're satisfied, when you're satiated, some other things don't matter as much. Some other things don't pull at you and gnaw away at you as much. And it's a good force field with all the crap that goes on in the world. It's a good force field. Some things bounce off a little bit more when you're feeling full.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love that idea, and which kind of brings up something for me, and maybe we can flush this out together, guys. But have you noticed that maybe as we get a little older and maybe live a little longer, that the things that you're grateful for begin to change or become very different? You know, the things that we're thankful for. Have you guys kind of noticed that maybe in your just living?
Yes. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. I think that, you know, I've shared it before many times on the episodes where I find myself not contemplative, but looking out windows more and looking at light. And first of all, being thankful that I have the sight to see the light, but also just looking at the way light bounces off of things, makes shadows, goes through glass. They're really wonderful, you know, and they're kind of in a one way temporary. We know the sun rises every morning, but when it goes through a glass pane or it goes through a crystal ornament or goes through water dripping from the leaves and it creates a shimmering, like to see those light shows on a daily basis for free is a really, really neat moment. I don't think I ever noticed any of that as much as I have, you know, these past few years. And like I said, I don't know, does it come with the age? Does it come with just having that ability to just sit for a moment and pause I think that's a big thing. Is
I think
just
it comes with wisdom.
I think so.
I think wisdom and gratitude are cousins.
Mhm.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's so funny because obviously when I was 20, I don't remember giving much thanks or being grateful to be able to like get off the couch without popping. You know what I mean? Like your knees are popping, or
Yes.
you're just happy to be able to move. Like walking the dog, I was like, yes, I did it, 2.2 miles, and who knew that I'd be grateful for that, right? But yeah, as you get older, that wisdom kicks in and that appreciation for the free light show, man, it's real.
But I studied martial arts for the longest time, and I can remember in my classes as a young person, my instructor, who was he was in his 40s, I believe, at that time, trying to impart that upon us as young people. And we would be sitting still in some kind of a seated position. He'd be telling us to breathe in and breathe out. And I think as young people, we're just like thinking, I could remember thinking in my head, at least for me, I was like, can we just get past this? Like, why am I doing this? I want to get into the movement part, because I guess that's part of youth. That's that youthful exuberance that, that we see in our students. But I wish I caught on sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I had that ability to see all this sooner, maybe. I don't know.
And I'm finding, especially last year when I served as the school counselor, I noticed that kids were welcoming the being still part. Like they were grateful for an opportunity just to be still.
Oh, that's good.
Right. So I think maybe even their generation, this overstimulation, maybe the overstimulation, they welcome the stillness. And share some, like they thanked me for given them 5 to 7 minutes to just kind of chill out,
right.
and regroup a little bit. Yeah. You okay, Aaron? I love when you're like very
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking that, in high school or any school, really doesn't matter what age, even where Pete is elementary school and college where Fred is, there's a whole social aspect. There's a whirlwind all day long, getting from class to class and expectations from teachers and whatever drama or funny business is going on. So I can imagine having those few minutes to just kind of get away from that buzz would probably be welcoming.
Absolutely. And, I want us to be able, especially obviously for our teachers out there, this is really, at the end of the day, a really important self-care practice that we can bring into classrooms, right? Like we need a break, but even instilling it in our kids early on, I think would be super helpful. And, we'll get into some strategies and a nice little list for our listeners. But, like for example, a gratitude jar, where each kid gets a little piece of paper and take a few minutes to just, what you're thankful for and why, and share if you want to share. And if not, put it in the jar. And, I find that everybody needs that break to reset. Some kids may hate school, but then when you let them know that, hey, there's some places in the world where kids don't even have access to this stuff, it starts to change the lens. So I can see how even in our classrooms, we have the power to really grow kids in that way, just to pause and be thankful for the stuff that you got. Everybody doesn't have an iPad. Everybody doesn't have a one-to-one device.
That's
school. Right. I think about even places in rural Georgia, where they don't even have the bandwidth for technology. So this is a practice I feel so strongly about, because I think, it help our teachers, of course, but then even our kids, and creating this grateful space in our classrooms, I think would be just so beneficial.
And I think we have had guests on in the past. I'm remiss for some of the episodes, probably in our first season, where we talked about service. And I think that's one of those important factors that, we continue to weave into our learning spaces, because that's how you can kind of, I hate to say it, like put yourself in their shoes, because really you don't know what it's like in their shoes per se, but to get involved in your community in a kitchen, or, at a food bank, or a clothing drive, having them go out and do that and understand that this is what we should be doing so they can have a appreciation. I don't know if that, I guess that's okay to look at it that way, I suppose. I mean, but you're right. I mean, to say it, it's one thing. Because as you were saying all that, I was thinking as a military member, once again, traveling, I was fortunate enough to see that. And not everybody can go somewhere else and walk through an alley of a town and look at it and go, oh my gosh, what is wrong with this place? But, and you could see the people sleeping in places. I know we have elements of that in our own country, but that's their norm everywhere, like in certain places. And then when you come back here to the United States, you quickly realize we have it really good. No matter how much strife and stuff that's going on, we really are a blessed country. We do have a lot of good things going on here. We just got to work to keep it. That's all. I mean, that's the catch.
Right. And be happy with what you have, right?
Exactly.
Reduce that materialism. I think that's really sticking out to me tonight. So hopefully you guys have had a chance to kind of look back and think about this year. I know it's been quite something for each of us. And so we want to share with our listeners and each other some happy happenings or some gratitude actually that we've experienced throughout the year. And I wanted us to kind of look at it, not so much with more structure, but just for ourselves and our listeners to be able to pinpoint that gratitude really impacts us socially and health-wise, like all of these benefits to gratitude, and maybe giving us an opportunity to share with our listeners how we have been impacted in these different areas. So we're going to do like a little round robin, and we're going to finish the stem. So you'll be given the stem of a statement, and we will finish. Sound like a plan?
Let's do it.
Well, I want to start with something silly first. And no, it's not the dryer sheets. Something silly I'm grateful for. Something silly I'm grateful for. I hate to start with Fred, but your smile is beaming, bud.
So I'm grateful for this. I'm holding
sign? What is that?
So these are sound tiles, and I am grateful that the sound tiles that I put up in front of my desk have not fallen down because they are sticking to the wall. And I was like, I'm going to put these up there because when I redid my office in here, I created a little bit of a sound challenge. Pete, and I think you know about some of this. So I had to purchase these little tiles. They're acoustic tiles. They were very inexpensive, but I'm so thankful that they're not just like all of a sudden just raining tiles on my head in here. So thank you very much, tile people, for making a good tile. To the tile people, www.tilepeople.com. Thank you.
We have another sponsor. And for those of you that are not on YouTube, he is hugging the tile. So he's a fan.
It's like a ninja star for nerds.
it's exactly
gonna fall and hit him in the middle of an episode.
Love that. I love it. Silly but practical, right? I mean, silly but practical. Oh man, Pete, what you got for us?
So I cheated on all these.
Wait, how do you cheat on these?
I'll explain. I'm sick of myself. I didn't want to ask myself any of these. So I have a long drive home with the boy, the 12-year-old boy now, who just had his birthday. And he's very getting used to the gifts and dad, this. And I said, well, you need a reminder of how good you got it. And let's talk about gratitude. So I asked him these questions on our drive home.
I love it. I love it.
And we needed a teaching moment, and I drilled him. And so, yes, so something I am silly that I'm grateful for. And this is word for word from my kid, because he typed it into the phone on the drive home. He took out a cop-out answer. The drive home from school with my dad, we laugh a lot. So that was
nice.
The nice one right there.
That's cool.
That is so sweet. That is so sweet.
We do laugh a lot.
I love that you said it was a teachable moment. So for those people that say that teachers only work a certain amount of months a year, we're never off.
No, not with that kid.
We're always
everything in my world revolves around my boy and my wife. So that when I think of gratitude and thankful, it always everything I do goes back towards how hard I work for them and whatnot. So it just made sense to me to ask him. I said, what are you thankful for? I just made it a moment for us. So That's where I
Awesome,
got these
awesome.
answers from.
I love it. And you're modeling it, right? So even our listeners can either do this with their students or their own kids. I love it. Erin, what you got? What's silly you're thankful for?
So no big surprise. It's going to have to do with reading.
Okay.
So Louise Penny is an author that I have a guilty pleasure of reading her mystery series. It's Three Pines, for those of you out there, Inspector Gamache. I absolutely love this series and I love the characters. Recently, a trailer came out. Amazon Prime is about to start a whole streaming series of her books.
Oh, wow.
So I am just like, because there's, okay, did I tell you how many books are in the series so far?
No.
17. I've read them all. And the 18th one's going to come out at the end of this month. So I'm super excited, pre-ordered. But then I see this trailer that they're doing a series. And, you know, I have a t-shirt that says the book was better, because whenever I see movies and stuff, it's usually the case. But I have to say, in seeing this trailer, the characters are pretty close to what I imagined. So I'm super excited, and it's silly, but I'm grateful for just kind of the fun that series brings to me, and apparently will continue on.
Very cool. Wow, that's a nice surprise, right? When you get stuff like that.
Yeah.
And on the big screen. I mean,
Yeah.
well, you know.
On my big screen TV. Yes.
I love that.
I hope they don't cancel it all of a sudden.
Oh, Pete.
Like everything. They might just say, hey, no, we're going to pay the cast and we're just not going to air it. And I will fight for you for that, Erin.
Thank you,
I will
Pete.
fight for
We
you.
will sign a petition.
They're
of
doing that a lot
protest.
lately.
They better
Yes.
not.
Okay, here's which Erin, I don't know how you, I didn't even find that to be silly. I'm thinking that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe silly how excited you've gotten. I don't know.
I
but
get really
love
excited.
that.
I get excited about books. Silly.
And you know, I think you've rubbed off on me.
Oh, good.
Because I am exceeding, and I'm going to save it in case we do a future show on this, but my goal for reading, you know, books to read this year, I've exceeded it. I am so excited. So thank you,
That's cool.
Erin, for being such a positive influence. So my silly gratitude, I'm sorry, is Dr. Teal's sleep spray with melatonin and essential oils.
What?
Guys, Dr. Teal's sleep spray. I'll send you a picture. Melatonin. So it's a melatonin spray.
Where do you spray? What do you spray?
Okay, hold on.
Okay, I'm getting excited.
Let's keep it G. Let's keep it G.
Oh, no. Oh, gosh.
Okay.
No. It's a sleep spray, not a wake-up spray. I wasn't even going there. I promise.
So I've been having challenges, like ever since COVID, like after COVID, my sleep is just really bad. I don't know. Maybe it's being quarantined. But my daughter was here during the hurricane, and she hipped me to this spray, and it's basically melatonin, right, with essential oils. And I find that it works better for me than taking a melatonin. So you basically, you know, nice hot shower at the end of a long day, and you squirt on your neck, and, you know, you can do even your wrists. And I'm telling you guys, you're out like a light. So,
All right, can you hit us with the name again?
Dr. Teal's
Oh,
sleep
Dr.
spray.
Dr. Teal.
And we do not advise spraying this in classrooms, right? This is
Correct. This is
only
correct. You should not be squirting your kids so that they fall out in class.
Oh well.
For teachers only.
gonna
But
put it in
if a parent says their kid is not sleeping, you might want to recommend it. Just don't spray your kids.
Put it in the potpourri.
Do they have a plug-in? Can we get a plug-in? I love it. So yes, that is my silly. I love that stuff.
I think that's I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
I'm learning all kinds of stuff to get tonight.
Another sponsor, Dr. Teal's, can be
Teal.
bought
Come
on
Dr.
Amazon.
Teal. Come on.
Dr.
Come on,
Teal.
help us out.
Wasn't that a character on one of the Muppets bands? No,
That's
it was
what
Dr.
I
Teeth.
wrote down Dr. Teeth the first time she said it.
Teal's with the
He's
S.
not going to relax me.
I'm
He
done.
gets me
I'm
trying
done
to.
with you guys. No, but it really is awesome. Natural way to sleep. Natural way to sleep.
That's exciting.
Oh, that's my sympathy. Okay, let's regroup. Okay, guys.
All right.
I know this is going to be a challenge. I don't know if it's a challenge for you, but it's a challenge for me to spotlight myself. So I did think of you, Pete, because I know you are super humble, but your son answered this, so that's good.
Yes.
I am grateful for who I am because.
Oh, okay.
What did your son say? This is interesting to hear.
12-year-old. I am unique, musical, and my heart is kind. That's what he wrote. I am grateful for who I am because he spelled unique wrong. He might have put eunuch.
Because I'm a eunuch.
That's okay.
Right? Hey, I love him. It's all good.
So say his sentence again. I love this.
I am unique, musical, and my heart is kind.
I love that. And my hope is that he always stays connected.
I know, right?
The older you get, it just gets so hard to really kind of talk about yourself, or at least highlight yourself. Yep. So I love that. He's modeling great stuff.
Thank you.
Aaron, I'm grateful for who I am because.
So my silly answer was because I go to Disney World, but my serious answer is I'm authentic. You typically get what you see.
Yeah, and that is so true. That is so true. And I will say this, guys. We've been together for quite some time, which I'm absolutely grateful for. But, my love for Disney has really increased. And I even said to my husband, I want us to have a Star Wars weekend because I want it all to make sense. You know what I mean? Like in order. Like I want order. Yes, Fred. And I was like, you know what? And the other part I love about it is because it does keep you youthful.
It does.
I just think, and even our guests that have loved Disney, that are Disney fans like you guys, I think you guys are beyond fans, but I don't know. It's just, there's a youthfulness, a positivity. I mean, you guys are all the same. It's one
Crazy.
Big family. Yeah, it's one big family. So I love that. So thank you for doing a silly one, Aaron. Fred, what you got?
So so I'm going to read it because I think I know I wrote it. I'm grateful for who I am because I have had a hand in guiding my children and my students. And I love that ability to have had done that and continue to do so. Yeah. So I can't say that I am the only hand in their lives, but I've had a hand in their lives, and that allows me to think that I've passed something on to them. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I so want to encourage our TPR friends to really, do this activity, because I just think we need to stop and think about how much we impact others. And teaching is so tough. I mean, we all know this. Teaching is tough. And I think that by just making time for these pauses to really think about the magnitude of our influence to our kids, that should just fill your heart up. I mean, it just should fill your heart up.
And somebody had said that today that I heard, and they said, what you do or you don't do will impact others. And that's so just understanding that circle is going to create your inaction or action is going to ripple somehow. So
yeah. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I've noticed with our guests that are not in education, you notice how complimenting they have been in honoring the profession and honoring us. Really highlighting, especially at the end when we do the mentors. I mean, at least 2 or 3 episodes this season alone, I've wanted to cry because they've been so heartfelt.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that with this episode, we at least jumpstart, if we have to, for teachers across the world to take stock in what we do. I feel like, the politics of education, the hard work that goes in it, robs us of the ability to really see the grand scheme of things and how powerful we are in the big picture of things. So I've noticed that our guests have been so grateful to not only, of course, TPR, but just teachers, period. So I love that. So my answer is, I'm grateful for who I am because I'm really dedicated and growing as a person. constantly trying to evolve and just be better. But more importantly, I feel like I want that for other people too. So it's kind of like I learn and grow, and then I want to pass that on to those that are around me. Because I just love seeing the best in people, or just, people lighting up and all that. So I think for me, it's growth and my desire for others around me to grow too.
I don't want you to, I don't want this to sound cliche or condescending, Letitia, but you practice what you preach. And I think you embody what you preach. And I think that's what's so likable, lovable about you. And when you say things it is so evident that you are fully behind it. So thank you for always being that way and sharing that. That's very, very helpful to all of us. So yeah, you are a great example of that practice. And I don't think practice is the right word though, is it, Aaron? It's maybe application is better.
Belief system.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. So you're doing it, baby. You're rocking it. You're being it.
You guys. Thank you. It's tough, but it's worth it, right? Tough, but it is worth it. Okay, guys. So the next, our health. Let's highlight our health this year. And I don't know about you, but like I said about my cracking knees, I've really my health has been something that I want to be intentional about being grateful for. So Aaron, your what aspect of your health this year?
So I wrote all of it. I'm just so thankful that I, knock on wood, am a healthy person. I mean, I have, little things here and there, but it is really nothing. We unfortunately had to attend a funeral on Monday for someone around all of our age who fought the good fight against cancer and just didn't beat it. And so I am just thankful that every day I'm getting up, and even if like my feet hurt or my knees are bothering me or my back, I am thankful that I'm pretty much a healthy person. So all of it.
Us too. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. I love it. Fred, this year, your health.
Yeah. So this year was a little bit of a battle. So, I'm glad, I'm grateful that I've been able to correct a long-term problem, and I'm on the path to wellness with it, but that's important. It's, the Achilles surgery in general. So that's addressing that. And then ultimately accepting the fact that it was going to be a long heal. So I am moving in the right direction. I'm so happy for that. I'm just looking forward to getting my wheels back underneath me and getting on the road running. So that's what the spring holds, I think, early spring. So that's what I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to do it. Instead of the alternative is sedentary lifestyle, and that's not me. And that brings on a whole bunch of other problems that I don't have to deal with, so it was good to kind of kick that into gear. And I'll be honest with you, that day before I was like, hey, you know what? This isn't that bad. I don't need to go do that surgery. Right. So I did it, and I'm grateful that it worked well so far. And I keep on, and I am listening to the physical therapist. I'm not ignoring it.
Good. And another thing I wanted to say about the importance of intentionality with gratitude, right? Because when you start thinking about your health, I mean, it makes you wonder, like, just about people in general, right? Like, recently I saw a commercial about a young man that wrestles and has no legs, like he's just torso and it's like, it's like I have legs and knees that crack and pop, but I have them, right? So trying to take care of them and walking. So even in our health, I really want people to just, take a look at that as well. I say for me, in terms of health, and I've been transparent before, but I am type 2 diabetic. And so when this pandemic hit, I've had to take all the boosters and shots, and I just got a pneumonia vaccine, which I didn't know I needed, and, all this, but all in all, I'm just going to say it. My immune system has been badass. Okay. My immune system has rocked. I mean, I got COVID. I didn't have to go be hospitalized. I mean, really, my body just did not betray me. So, for a couple of weeks now, I've been like, what? My immune system has been badass. This is awesome. Good job, Jones. Good job. And then, of course, more practical, but not a reality for everyone, is that I have access to doctors.
Right.
I have medication and health insurance and all of that. So, even in those moments, again, there are people that can't even go to urgent care. Right. So awesome. Pete, what does our resident 12-year-old have to say about this?
I'm grateful for this aspect of it. Okay. Well, I don't have anything broken.
Good to know. Good to know.
You know what?
I love it.
I think we donate to organizations to help sick kids. And I think of them. I'd like to help them more. And I'm also thankful my grandpa is out of the hospital.
There you go.
So I didn't read these. I'm reading them right now. So.
Okay. This is hot off the press, unfiltered. I love it.
I don't have anything broken.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Exactly. Let's stay whole. Let's stay whole. Am I missing anyone? Did we all share?
That was it.
I think so.
Okay. So our social well-being.
Social.
And this could be relationships, with our significant others, but what gratitude for your social well-being. Your social well-being.
I can just throw this mine out. It's a simple one, just being renewed. And I've shared that before in the past too. But I think coming out in this, where we are after COVID, all the chaos and everything that we went through, is giving us an opportunity to renew the connections and to renew getting back out there and to in a weird way kind of experience things again, but maybe not the first time, but but almost feeling like the first time in a way, like seeing things, walking about places that you haven't been to in a while and all that good stuff. So, being back out with friends, concerts,
right.
Gatherings, unmasked, being safe for those who are still compromised. But for me, being renewed.
That is awesome. I love that. And, kind of to piggyback on that, I think for me, it's been something along those lines, but just deeper relationships. I've noticed that my social circle, I don't know, maybe it's because, we have been quarantined and, I've tried to be intentional about calling people or just connecting, having deeper conversations, even with my adult kids, right? Because I'm kind of stuck with them, right? And so I've just noticed that the pandemic really has put a lot of things in perspective. So my social circle and those connections have seemed to have gotten a lot deeper. And I'm going out, right? I just got my Wakanda Forever t-shirt, by the way, because I am ready.
Sweet.
It's Friday, right? That's Friday, right?
Friday. So yes, deeper relationships. Erin, what you got? Your social well-being.
I wrote, I am grateful that my social well-being is filled with people from all walks of life who inspire me and accept me.
And isn't that a gift, right? To be around people where you can be who you are. And to even loop in our TPR guests, guys, these folks have been so awesome and reaching out and open to establishing relationships with us, beyond the show and all that. I count all of that to be a blessing, that we get to meet every week with each other and love on each other and laugh, and then to start adding these wonderful people to the TPR circle. I don't want us to lose sight of that either. So thank you so much, Erin. You're right. Being safe in our circle is awesome. What does our 12-year-old have to say, Pete?
Boy. My dad says he regrets not having any friends from his childhood years. I think mine are here to stay. My friends like me for who I am.
Aww.
That's cool for a 12-year-old to say.
Yeah,
we're on the
exactly.
Right path. We're on the
exactly.
Right path.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys may have had a conversation about this.
Who knows what I say in Atlanta traffic? I say all sorts of things.
He's picking up some great lessons. So you should be grateful for that.
I am
Nothing broken and friendships intact. I love it.
All
you know, the one part about friends for you, right? That's a tough thing because as you get older, it is harder to maintain those connections for whatever reasons, and so I think you flip it and you look at the friendships you have now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
you guys are a huge part of that. Yep.
I love that. And to that point, Fred, I went to that 50th birthday party, the 1920s theme. It was fabulous. I mean, literally a casino theme. But I was kind of in awe of how she had folks from middle school, high school, college, and then professional. I just thought that was so awesome. And then her pictures reflected the same thing on the little slideshow. Cool. So and she seemed to be extremely grateful that she had all those people there. But yes, so sounds like her social circle is going well. Okay, this might be a tricky one. And I don't know about you guys, but taking time, especially as a teacher, to think about professionally, the things that we're grateful for. Clearly, I'm grateful for a check, but these days, you don't work, you don't eat. But on a serious note, guys, was this a hard one to answer?
Not for me, but only because the last year or two, I've put a lot, like I intentionally pushed myself a lot professionally. Had it been another year, maybe. But I think it's a great one because we're always encouraging our educator friends to look out for self and to try to find things that, can continue to push us or think about things differently. So I love this. I love this question.
Yeah, you've been great though, Erin. I mean, you really have been kind of continually sharpening your steel, so to speak, right? You're even you shared something even in the last episode about, how you came across the woman that became the guest. You were taking a class through at Yale, I think they said. And yes. I was like, you don't stop.
I don't stop. I am on a little pause right now, which has been really, really nice. But yes, the last 2 years, I've been hardcore in a lot of programs, trying to grow myself, push myself, meet other people. So yeah.
And I'm sorry, Fred. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's great. That's just great. I give you credit for that because it's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
All while working, right? And it's been so inspiring, and you've been very intentional, and you've learned so much. And professional self-care is a thing, and I think a lot of times we burn out, especially in our profession, because we don't, we're so inundated with the stuff from work that we don't pause and say, there might be a class or something that I'm really interested in, or a program, or just a fun learning, it's a photography class or whatever.
Welding.
Welding, yeah. And which pays good money, I hear.
That's my goal this summer. I'm going to learn welding.
Are you going to make an elf sword?
I could. I can make a bunch of rings.
Can we not? Let's not go down that trail. But Erin, you're the other thing to kind of highlight here is that we've had the pleasure of being able to see you do this.
Yep.
The classes, and it has been just amazing and really a joy to see you grow. And that's the connections that I would like for us to think about. That when we grow, we impact the people around us.
Yep.
Right? Like I'm reading more because of you. Like your excitement and joy about reading has really, I'm like, what's all this, professional growth or personal growth stuff I read all the time. I am reading pleasure reading, and it has changed. I mean, literally changed the game. Know, how to change the way you think. Why do you think that way? Books? No, it is juicy stuff. Sometimes I'm like, oh my cheeks are getting red here. This is
tell
awesome.
us more.
Yeah, just grateful. And then my spray on my popping knees while my bounce is rolling. Okay.
A lot going on there.
This is very busy. But anyway, yes. Okay, so professionally, Pete, what you got? Oh,
so
what does our 12-year-old have?
I didn't give him any descriptions. I didn't give him any help on this. So I want to say, okay. What is health to you? What is professional to you? So he put, almost every night since the COVID shutdown time, I've played a Zoom concert from my grandparents in Japan. This helped build my confidence. And last weekend, I was able to play my first set in front of a live audience at my elementary school 50th. So he got the idea.
Yes,
the idea.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, that is awesome.
Yeah. Look, my neck's getting red. Look at that. My neck's getting red. That darn kid.
You might need some spray.
Okay. I might need some spray on my neck. Dr. Teeth.
That is great though, Pete. That is
Love it.
fantastic.
I'm keeping this. I'll keep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. It'd be nice to talk to him about that stuff in a year or
Yep.
two.
Yep.
Fred, what you got professionally?
So it's a continuing theme, trying to get out there, renewal and so on. And mine was, wanting to get back on the road, like getting out there professionally with our peers at a conference. So I submitted a proposal to present, and it got accepted at an international conference. And so that's where I'll be next week, right? Presenting and giving a talk. And it's one of those moments where I'm hoping, and I know once I get there, it's just going to be really cool to be around our peers going through the same issues, challenges, successes, and sharing it. So so professionally, that's where I was. On top of that, a new prep. So I'm going to be beginning a series of new preps for new courses. We're rebooting part of the degree.
Wow.
So it's forcing me back into the classroom, I guess you could say, my own classroom though. So, but just learning, but ultimately professionally getting out there at a conference. Yeah.
I love it. And I want to encourage teachers to go out there. They're always looking for presenters.
Yeah.
And you'd be very surprised. And that could be another self-care, professional self-care. Well, guys, we thank you so much for indulging me this evening with our gratitude session. We all know that our guests love lists. So get your pens and paper ready, because we have a little list. Thank you, Aaron, for being so prepared. And here are some tools to cultivate gratitude in your life. The first one we've talked about, which is a gratitude journal. You could do a gratitude jar, but just setting time aside. I know, Aaron, you do this, I believe, in the evenings. You write in your journal?
Yep. Every night I do a gratitude check.
Awesome. And I'm a morning person. I try to do it Aaron's way. So I do gratitude moments in the morning where I reflect on the day previous and just really do it that way. So the point there is that it's just to do it, right? You might be like Aaron, do it at night, which you sleep better actually when you do it at night and you don't need so much spray. But either way, morning or night, gratitude journals, giving thanks, guys. And I know this is so elementary, right? Like everything you needed to learn, you learned in kindergarten, but just being intentional when you find someone that's done something kind or done something great, in your classroom too, thank our kids. Thank your kids for making a good choice or walking in line straight or finishing a project, but just looking for opportunities just to say to someone, hey, I noticed that you did that. Thank you so much. So let's bring thank yous back into our language.
Yeah.
Another way to cultivate is mindfulness walks. So if you are out and about, just being thankful for something you see, you hear, you smell, just taking a moment. Today on my dog walk, just loving that he was frolicking in the leaves. And I think he loved the crunchiness. And I got so tickled by that, but just being present and enjoying a walk and being thankful. So a mindfulness walk is really a great way to practice gratitude letters. Right? Thinking about people that have really impacted your life, or a friend that you're thankful for, or whatever, a former colleague, a professor, a family member, and something I do in therapy with folks that are grieving, sometimes even having them write a gratitude letter to someone who's passed away to help them process their grief. So just simply writing a gratitude letter. And, I know that we're texting now and all, but I just believe people appreciate something in the mail. I still have stamps, people. So just want to encourage people to write a letter or an email to folks, just to say thank you, and why you appreciate them. Grateful contemplation. So taking about 5 to 10 minutes, no TV, no phone, and just really reviewing your day. What are some things I'm grateful for today? Right? Maybe half the kids put the instruments back. Maybe not the whole class, but hey, 5 kids put them back.
I'll take it.
Right? I'll take it.
That's a good thing.
And it doesn't have to be, I think sometimes we complicate this practice. It is the simple things. It is appreciating veterans, just taking time. Fred, I had not thought about it, but in my county here in Gwinnett County, they put the names of veterans. So you can drive in the community and see the actual names of folks. Yep. And I never thought to be thankful, although I have thought, who has put all those crosses and those names out? But just the fact that someone is remembering.
Oh, they do them as crosses.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it is a lot. There's a certain community and they just put them all out, and it's hundreds of them. But someone is doing that, right? So they just didn't appear there. So just taking time, a few minutes each day. Gratitude conversation probably is my favorite one. To find a partner, and you can teach this to your kids at school, but each of you, 3 things that you're grateful for, why you're grateful for it. Are there things that are in common, things that we're grateful in common? And I just thought, what a great way for partners to end their day, or, a single mom, or even a family sitting at the table and just going around and just having this gratitude conversation. And maybe we can help our kids with this materialism and ourselves really too. So those are some gratitude practices. Guys, I have a list of books. Is there somewhere where we can provide this to our listeners?
Yeah, we can post it up on our Facebook page.
Awesome. Fantastic. So I have about 5 or 6 books that I would love our listeners to have access to. And so we'll put that out there just so that they have, obviously access, and they can just build their gratitude toolbox. How about that, guys?
I have Letitia too to add on. So like that conversation, right? As we're all talking here, we all agree to it. We all appreciate it. I think there's probably got to be someone who's listening to this going, I don't know if I could do that in my family. You know what I mean? Because like they may be, but I think would the advice simply be just do it. Just
Exactly.
and see where it falls. Nobody's going to, cast you out of the home if you say, hey, what are you grateful for?
Mm-hmm.
I remember the one year we did it on I wrote it on the whiteboard in the kitchen where we have all of our calendar, and underneath there's a little whiteboard space. And I simply wrote on there, what are you thankful for? And sure enough, over the course of the week and 2 weeks, there was some funny things that were on there. And then there were some things that were more heartfelt. But if anybody's out there, I'm sure there's somebody thinking, I can't bring that up with my kids. They're going to think I'm crazy, or somebody's going to be thinking that. So just do it.
Absolutely. And, just do it is absolutely right. And without judgment. I think we complicate the practice by thinking that, it has to be something deep. And I'll tell you, the more you do it, the deeper it does get. That's right. Right? Because now you're paying attention. Wow, I have legs. And I can go to the bathroom without anyone having to help me. I ran into someone who recently is incapacitated.
Yeah.
And needs help doing it's like, wow, we take for granted that our eyes blink, to clean our eyes, like all these things. And that's the idea, is to bring this awareness, and it really actually floods your brain with happy hormones. So I encourage everyone to press on. It will be, I'm happy for my family. I'm grateful for my family, kids. I'm grateful for my family.
Yeah.
But I think the more you do it, like anything, it'll become a way of life. And that's the goal, for it to become a way of life.
Definitely.
So
good stuff.
So do you want?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, I was going to say this was great. Thank you. And this
good.
has become a tradition, I feel like, for us. Every year around this time of year, we take time for gratitude and thanks. And so I appreciate that you made sure that we did this this time around again, Letitia. That was wonderful.
It was excellent. Thank you very much for putting that all together.
And Pete, if our TPR crew, they want to find the book list that we're going to post from Letitia, or just continue to be a part of this community, where can they find us?
Our Facebook group, our Instagram. Mr. Fred puts our these episodes up on YouTube. And leave us a review. Please keep the conversation going. Wherever you're listening to us, leave us a review. It really helps us. We want a lot of other people to start being a part of our conversation. We want to help others and lift others up and connect with others.
Definitely. Thank you to our veterans. And if you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. It's around the corner.
Yes. Oh, that's Easter. Never mind. Sorry.